this is your final year, seniors. I mean, what's the emotions knowing that this is tomorrow night? And I know your mom probably be crying because this will be your final first game. But talk about that emotion of being a senior now.
She might be crying right now listening. But, I mean, it's been a dream come true, really. I mean, I grew up coming to these games since I was 3-4 years old and sitting on Fred's lap in the press box. And he had Tim Checkeye bring me an autographed helmet from the 03 team, I think it was, of all the players. And I've just always loved Beckley. It's a dream come true being able to lead this team.
And Brent, there's always a lot of responsibility put on the quarterback, but maybe even so more you with the style of offense that you run. You want to be able to get the ball snapped real quick. You've got to be able to get up to the line of scrimmage. You've got to read the defense. You've got to call the play and maybe even change the play. What's that transition been like for you?
Last year, I struggled with it a little bit the first couple games. Greenberry's game, we just got into a rhythm, and I didn't really think about anything. But later on in the season, defense have picked up on it, and I struggled a whole lot with that. And then June ball came around, and I feel like I have a good grip onto the offense right now, and it feels a whole lot better running it.
Ben, from the offensive line standpoint, running this speed offense that we want to run as quick as we can, how has it been for the offensive line? I know you guys are in shape and everything else because you have to get up to the line as quick as you possibly can.
Oh, yeah, we got all our guys. I mean, we ran in the summer like no other. I've never conditioned as hard. Being, as big as our line is, you have to be conditioned, and you have to be, if you can't move, you cannot play.
Yeah, especially just what happened a year ago when we went to Winfield, what happened to us.
Oh, yeah.
With that, we were in shape then, but, I mean, there's some certain things you just can't control, but you work on harder to get to that point where it won't bug you as much like it might tomorrow night with temperatures up in the mid-80s.
I mean, you guys got, Brent, Troy, all those guys playing, 100, 150 plays per game going, as hard as they can. But, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, they had to go to the hospital. But I think this year we're going to be there.
It didn't help with Winfield having the heat on in the locker rooms either.
Oh, yeah. Is that right? I didn't know that.
They gypped us a little bit with the heat on.
Yeah. We'll have to remember that for tomorrow night.
Yeah,
we can make the trip here.
Might have to call Coach Surratt or somebody, put them in the mat room in the heat.
Well, Ben, for you, I'd say same way like in with all the other linemen, to be able to adjust, to be able to get to the line of scrimmage, hear what Brent's calling, and also be able to know if he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage or if he's changing perhaps a certain blocking scheme.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to listen to him. He's the boss. I mean, you got to go with it. And if he taps you on the butt and says, this is what's going to happen, and that's what happens.
Is it easier, though, going back with Brent for his second year? You know his cadence. You know certain things. Sometimes you all have been playing together for so long, you pretty much know what each other are going to do. You know what you're thinking. You can go off and play tonight. You kind of have the same instincts.
Yeah, whenever our second team guys go in, I can't really get, his cadence is, I'm so used to it, but I just can't block, and I just can't hear the cadence right. I mean, I'm just so used to him being in the gun.
And we have certain plays where we can add on rollouts. And I know when we got a certain play called pass play, I don't have to say it this year. I know Ben knows that he's got to steal that guy so I can get outside. And I know that's one thing that's really helped a whole lot, having that in the back of my head, knowing that I don't have to give that out and know the other team knows Ben's name because Ben Jackson's a familiar name in the state. So, I mean, when I say Ben, they kind of figure I'm going to that side. So.
Well, one other thing, Brent, we've talked so much about offense, but how about your responsibilities now playing defense?
Yeah, I mean, they stepped up a little bit with Troy out for the scrimmage Saturday. Had to help a little bit. But with Troy in there, I rely on him on the defensive side because he's the leader. He's the horse on that, and he makes the calls. And the only thing I'm worried about for tomorrow, for personal-wise, I just got to make tackles. These last two scrimmages, we as a whole, really, we missed too many tackles, but we're going to be sure to bring them down tomorrow.
And that's the thing, when you go to these scrimmages, you see things, and I mean, the new website Huddle, which is just amazing what you can see. I mean, you all can go back and look at each scrimmage. What were some things that you saw in the scrimmages that you said, okay, I need to work on that, or what were some things that you were happy with after the first two scrimmages?
Well, on the offensive line standpoint, our goal is to not let anybody hit this man right here. I mean, if we, get on and we move our feet and just seal everything, we'll have a great night. He'll run, he'll pass, it doesn't matter. But if we don't move our feet and, get our zones or whatever, get our guys lock in, drop or 5, it's just not going to happen.
Well, another thing too, Ben, going so quick, you may not have to hold the block as long.
But yeah, it's really heavy against our, blanks and all those guys in the back. They got one cut and they got to go. I mean, they have to read and then go. So they only get one cut.
What about you, Brent? When you look at it from the first 2 scrimmages, what you saw on film, what did you like about what you did on both sides of the ball? What do you think you still need to work on?
We have a whole bunch we need to work on. We knew coming in that teams don't respect us, and that's one thing we're going to try to change everybody's mindset. Everybody's going to blitz us 2 or 3. South Charleston blitz 2 or 3 guys each play. Hurricane blitz from the outside, inside. You never knew where they were coming from. So that's one thing we really need to start working on is picking up the blitzes. We always talk about the line is in charge of 5 guys. The 6 guys is my responsibility. So that's what I'm really keen on working on because I know teams don't respect us skill-wise for some reason. That they're just going to all-out blitz us.
And you do have 3 linemen coming back from last year, and you talked about Ben not having to worry about when you know you've got those guys coming back on the offensive line that you trust and know they've got your back. Does it make it easier for you when you come up to the line to know what you've got to read and you don't have to worry about certain things because you know they've got it taken care of?
Oh, yeah. It feels a whole lot better when we do a team takeoff on every Wednesday. We run up and down the field, score twice. It just feels better knowing I don't have to really I just have to say the play to the line one time, and then I don't have to worry about knowing what they're thinking. I just have to worry about getting the skill guys set, and then they're set. The line has done a great job with, and Coach Lawson told them at the beginning of the year, they're in charge of getting their self set, and they've really stepped up, and they've worked on that a whole bunch in the 2 scrimmages.
Do you anticipate a lot of teams blitzing you, where forcing you to find the hot read?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the backs are going to be key with that. We're going they'll be. Hopefully we'll get them off guard a little bit with our reads and stuff. And the backs are going to be our workhorses this year.
It's something both of you all can talk about. You mentioned a lot of teams that you're playing, you don't feel like they give you any kind of respect coming into the season. I noticed there is a sign that says something to the effect in the locker room, redemption tour. You kind of look at it this way to try to take one because Winfield beat you last year 49-12. This is the first step in that redemption tour, trying to get back to where you want to be.
I mean, I don't feel like anybody respects Beckley, but I mean, we got to go down to East, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. I love it. I mean, I wouldn't play for nobody. I love Beckley.
And of course, you look at the schedule coming up. You've got the games in the MSAC, but the biggest conference game or biggest rivalry games you got is week 2 against Greenbrier East, and then later in the season against Princeton, and then on Halloween night at home against Oak Hill, senior night. I mean, my gosh, that's just the perfect night to play that game.
Just thinking about it.
It does, don't it?
Yeah, that's a perfect setup, but we can't look to that game. We gotta. As much as we'd like to look for that game, we just gotta worry about Winfield right now.
Well, on the plus side, you talked about the rivalry game spread. At least 2 of those 3 are at home.
Yeah. And I think I'd rather play Greenbrier East at Greenbrier East, to be honest with you. It just adds a little bit more excitement.
That fires you up a little bit more because the crowd at East and the rivalry that's not just in football, but it's been in other sports as well. And, of course, you play other sports, and you know that, and it kind of trickles into football. And, I know, like you said, you don't want to look past tomorrow, but just looking as a whole, as we look down the schedule, that Greenbrier East game looms big the second week of the season.
Yeah, our schedule looks good. Each week is a tough game, but it's a game that there's not a game on the schedule where you kind of sit there and think, we can get that one. We can kind of relax a little bit. Each week you got to come on Monday and you got to get ready. It's a tough game each week.
And with that said, I'll ask both of you guys this. After tomorrow, you're not home again till October. So is there any more added pressure of going out and knowing you have to win tomorrow because you won't be home for another month? Ben, I'll start with you. You can answer that, and then Brent.
I don't think there's any pressure. I just think we got to come in Monday and put our work hats on, and I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. I don't like to answer questions because I'm just so, I'm kind of nervous. But as Coach Lee says,
you're doing great though, man. You are.
As Coach Lee says, if you're not nervous, you don't care about the game. So I'm just worried about tomorrow. I'm just ready to play.
How is that excitement building up? I know it started on Monday, and Tuesday's here. God, I can imagine sitting in classes saying, "Come on, 3 o'clock, hurry up, get here to practice."
Right.
Tomorrow, I don't even want to think about what you all be thinking about tomorrow during school. We'll get ready for this game, but just talk about the excitement building up to this.
It's you can't really describe it. It's different people have different ways of getting ready for everything. I don't really like talking a whole lot when I'm getting ready. Other people like dancing around, like Hoover and all them in the locker room. That's their style. But I'd like to turn around, face my locker, and just get ready that way. But during school hours, I enjoy. I put a smile on my face. I laugh and joke around with everybody, and just to kind of show a little bit of ease to us. We're not too uptight, but when it comes time, we're ready to go.
So, Brent, I'll ask you, since Ben doesn't like to answer questions, do you feel any more added pressure knowing that you don't have another home game until October, that you really got to get the game tomorrow night?
Yeah, we just got to really worry about what goes on the field. That's really all it boils down to. When it comes October 3rd and homecoming week and Calvin Midland comes to town, if there's nobody in the stands for a Calvin Midland homecoming game, there's something wrong with Beckley now. It doesn't matter what our record is going through September, because we got 3 tough games in September on the road, so anything's fair game. So when we come home on October 3rd, homecoming week, Calvin Midland, there should be a crowd for Calvin Midland coming to town.
Well, no doubt about it. It gets underway tomorrow night. We want to definitely be 1-0 after tomorrow night when we take on the Winfield Generals. We owe them a little bit after what happened last year, guys. Thanks a lot for talking to us, and let's get after it tomorrow night.
Appreciate it.
All right, Ben Osborne, Ben Jackson of the Beckley Flying Eagles. And once again, we wish them the best of luck and looking forward to the game tomorrow night with